Hello everyone and welcome back to this week's video. So as you can probably tell, I am no longer in Greece, which is where I took those photos from, but I am here to review some of those photos that I managed to capture on my family holiday recently there. So the general idea for this video was to take you through some of the compositions and the framing that I'd managed to capture during my time here. Most mornings I was up really early just trying to get that beautiful sunrise, but I did manage to capture a number of sunrise images which actually turned out really, really nice. Jesus, how warm is it tonight? I'm sweating in this t-shirt. Anyway. Okay, so you might have seen a few months ago, potentially, probably not, but on my channel I posted a video about using your mobile phone to help take photos, and I'm still very open-minded about this. I think that phones generally have got so much better over the last maybe 3 years or so, as you probably know yourself. I'd never resort to kind of using a kind of mobile phone to capture images that I was ever going to sell, for example. That would definitely not be something that I would want to do. I'm sure in future you'll be able to. But it is really good practice to use a mobile phone for different reasons, whether you're going to practice your compositions or essentially you just see an image out there and you don't want to miss it, but you can utilize your phone to capture it. So why not use the phone rather than missing the image is my kind of view. But anyway, this video should hopefully demonstrate some typical kind of mobile phone photos, and yeah, I'm not kind of a massive fan of using the mobile phone for various reasons. As photographers, you probably know that yourself, but I'm certainly not going to miss out on some shots that I know are nice compositions. Okay, so as previously mentioned in the video, yeah, this was a really good opportunity for me to get up and get out of the hotel and not disturb the family. Obviously this is kind of 6 o'clock, 6:15 in the morning, getting up into a very hot 28 degrees in the morning. I've got to say it was absolutely scorching hot in Greece, but it was worth it because the views that you get and opportunities that you kind of gain in those moments really are well worth getting up and out for. Yeah, so most of these images were fairly dark, mainly because they were all backlit images, but I think at the same time I did do a little bit of post-production on these images to kind of bring them a bit up to kind of the light that I really wanted them to be, in some cases anyway. I think the earlier I was, obviously the darker the land was, so there's some different examples of lighting in this set of images as well. But generally it was such a nice time to be out, just lovely capturing these type of images because the light was absolutely stunning. You can never really underestimate how powerful the light can be when you're out taking photos, even on a mobile phone, which generally would try and kind of like level up the overall contrast anyway, unlike on your kind of professional, obviously, cameras such as this one. Yeah, so I think for these type of images, I would just kind of shoot what you see. Ultimately, if you've got the eye for photography and you notice something that kind of draws you in, take a photo of it, because I think that's kind of generally means that you've got something that you feel is worth shooting. And these kind of images for me were the type of images where they just caught my eye. I found some interest in the subjects, such as the supermarket, which I kind of went back a couple of times. So there's 1 or 2 images there from the morning, and then I also went back at night as well, whilst kind of trying not to upset the family. One particular evening when I thought I would just go and wander down the beach. And yeah, I did manage to capture some kind of like low kind of evening setting light as well, which also made for a couple of nice images with the light kind of coming off the sign. Yeah, just gave it a different feel. Quite an old vintage shop, which you tend to find actually quite a lot on these kind of holidays to different destinations. And yeah, there's something quite cool about kind of how rustic they look. So this was kind of something that caught my eye. Now, another interesting part of the area that I was in was actually just next door to the supermarket, and it was like an old kind of derelict house, which looked like it might have been somewhere that, yeah, probably looked after children or something, but it was all really, really rusty and kind of looked really rustic and vintage like. So I actually thought there was a couple of images in there. So I decided to wander in and capture a couple of frames in there. It's a very busy scene, so it was kind of tricky just to kind of make everything work. So I think I managed to find this image, which I found actually was quite nice just because of the super sign just above the hedge at the top there, which was obviously from the supermarket next door, but it kind of made for an interesting kind of little frame just in the back of this this image. So there was something about it, and I thought I'd just capture it. Now, vehicles don't tend to be the thing that is a kind of main subject that attracts me generally, unless I see a very nice old vintage one next to a lovely setting in the background. But what I'd probably say is I was passing this particular old white van that was kind of on the resort pretty much every morning, so it was a working one that kept moving about. But there was something about it, and I kept walking past, ignoring it, and I thought, you know what, there's probably an image there that keeps on drawing me back, but it just needs to be in a position that I actually feel kind of works for an image. And did actually eventually park somewhere that had a really nice kind of view there, which gave it a little bit of a kind of juxtaposition type image, where it was really distressed kind of vehicle at the front there, all chewed up and dented over a number of years, with this beautiful kind of beach resort at the back there. So I just thought it was an interesting kind of concept of an image, and yeah, that's how it kind of came out. But it did move about quite a bit, and I kept on taking the odd photo of it. Now, the next image was another image that had a vehicle in it, but it wasn't really the main subject. It was very much in the background. It was actually more about the flags that were kind of flying around on a very windy day while I was out kind of capturing images. And there was just something about this kind of frame with the hut, the vehicle, but mainly the flags, the big red flags that were kind of drawing the attention. And I was taking a number of shots just to see what I could capture of the movement of the flag. And after looking at these images, I thought this one was actually quite nice, actually, of the flag, and it had nice shape about it, so I managed to capture this one. Yeah, this next image was a little bit more kind of opportunist, really, with the kind of guy coming down on the bike. And this was an area that I wandered up and down most mornings just because of the telegraph posts that were actually quite a good subject. But as soon as the guy came down his bike, I thought actually I had quite a good look to it, so I managed to grab this on one of the mornings that I was there. Yeah, and this next image was a pretty cool one, actually. It was a guy who kind of just went past on his little motorbike on one really early morning. I thought, this guy looks actually really, really cool. He must have been late 70s, something like that, on a really old school bike. It made like a very strange sound as it went past me, and I kind of managed to grab the phone and take a couple of shots. They were fairly wide. I'd have preferred it to be a lot closer and stuff, but I mean, it kind of made for a nice shot anyway. It's quite a nice scene, again, with the telegraph posts, and he really made for the shot ultimately. But yeah, if I'd have managed to get a bit closer to him or got the phone out quick enough, I think it'd have made a better shot, but it was still very nice to capture that one as well. Yeah, hopefully you're still staying with me. I'm kind of aware that the actual light is starting to go now. It's not taken me hours to record this video, but I must admit I am starting to lose the light now that we're getting into mid-August. It's starting to get kind of a little bit darker earlier, which is a massive shame because I love summer. Anyway, I'm going to carry on. So yeah, a couple more frames in this video, and this one in particular was one of those moments to try and capture. I was trying to capture this image of this chapel, which again caught my attention. Quite a unique little subject, really. And as I was trying to frame it up and trying to find the right light and the best angle to kind of shoot this frame with, there was a guy who was just running towards it, and I just tried to time him basically coming into the little section there between the kind of chapel and the gate or the fence area, and just managed to capture it. But there's something I guess a little bit odd about the fact that you look at something that's related to kind of the chapel and the church, and obviously someone out there kind of trying to stay active and healthy, and it's that kind of really weird twist between like kind of life and death, I suppose. So there was just something slightly eerie about that one, so I kind of thought there's something about it, I'll shoot it and put it in this video. So that was that one. I think this is where you kind of struggle a little bit with mobile phones. Obviously I want it to be probably a lot closer. Something, again, this is a 50mm lens on this Canon 5D, but I'll be honest, I'd have needed to be a lot closer to have shot what that scene was anyway, just to get a bit more detail of him actually doing the fishing, a bit more detail obviously. And it was quite a way back, but it made for quite a good like kind of wide pan type shot anyway. I think it was a lot more interesting having him in it than actually just the scene. It was a bit kind of mid-toned and a bit flat otherwise. Yeah, so I think the image that I'm most proud of is probably this one. And that's mainly because I just loved how clean this image was. There was a couple of strong positions for these two subjects that just balanced the overall frame, but I just love how clean this image is, and beautiful light as well. It wasn't the kind of crack of dawn, it was just slightly kind of past that, maybe about 7 o'clock. So the sun had been up for maybe 45 minutes to an hour at this point, but it just made a lovely clean scene. So I really enjoyed this image when I look back over all of the ones that I took on this trip. Yeah, so just to conclude this video, I would probably say don't be afraid of using your mobile phone. I think that's one big point. If you're gonna miss an image, take it with your mobile phone. It's better to have it than not. And I think what I'd probably say is you've always got to make the effort to get out. And if you're not there enjoying these opportunities, then you're never really going to kind of capture images in nice light, especially on an early morning. Obviously the resolution is not going to be anywhere near as good as a camera such as this. Obviously it's a 50 megapixel camera. Most are 24 megapixel cameras, or obviously higher if you have a higher spec camera as well. But still, don't be afraid to take the photos. You can still use them for kind of your Instagram pages, or you can also use them for smaller prints. You can probably get up to about A3 size and get away with it as well, to be fair. But it's mainly about the compositions, framing and your subjects, so don't miss out on taking those with your mobile. Yes, I hope you've enjoyed some of these images in this video, and yes, I'm very aware that I've been waffling on in this particular one, so hopefully you've not been annoyed by me too much and you're still watching. And if you are, thank you very much for watching until this point. I genuinely do appreciate all the support for the channel, and yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and yeah, leave me a comment if you want, and I'll probably come back to you on that as well. So thanks again for watching, and I will hopefully see you in the next video pretty soon.